Welcome to your next practice. In this practice you will need a towel, you will need a strap, and you will need a block. So when you've got all those pieces together, will you please lie down in Shavasana? Lying down on the back, feet wider than hips distance apart, arms several inches away from the sides of the body. Palms are facing up towards the ceiling. Toes rolling outwards, legs rolling outwards. Notice the underside of your body, all parts of the body that are touching the mat or the floor below. And feel any and all sensations here in the underside of your body. And then feeling the upper part of your body, all parts of the body facing towards the ceiling or sky above you. Notice any and all sensations in the upper part of the body. Then notice the whole body, the whole physical body as one unit. Whole physical body. We're going to piece together a body movement and a breathing exercise. This is called Kaya Kriya. So when the arms roll in, we'll be breathing in. So arms roll in from the shoulder sockets until the palms face down. And when the arms roll out, we'll be breathing out. So let's do that together. Arms are down on the floor beside you, palms are facing towards the ceiling. And on your next inhale, arms roll in right from the shoulder socket until your palms face down. Exhale, arms roll out, palms face up. Inhale, arms roll in, palms face down. Exhale, arms roll out, palms face up. Continue this practice. Inhale as the arms roll in. Exhale as the arms roll out. Continue this practice, all of your awareness upon your breath. Don't lose the attention to the breath. Just a few more rounds. Inhale, arms roll in. Exhale, arms roll out. The next time that your arms have rolled out with the palms facing up towards the ceiling, just pause there. Next, we'll bring our attention to the legs. So you'll be starting with the feet hip distance apart, if not wider. And your toes are pointing out towards the outside of your mat. The legs have rolled out. Now this time, on an exhale, the legs roll in. And on an inhale, the legs roll out. Exhale, legs roll in. Inhale, 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 legs roll out. Continue. Attention to the breath. A few more rounds. You're exhaling as the legs roll in, and you're inhaling as the legs roll out. Next time the legs have rolled in, so the toes are pointing in, the knees are pointing in, we'll pause there. So the palms are facing up, the arms have rolled out, the legs have rolled in. So on your next inhale, arms roll in, legs roll out. Exhale, arms roll out, legs roll in. Inhale, arms roll in, legs roll out. Exhale, arms roll out, legs roll in. Inhale, arms roll in, legs roll out. Exhale, arms roll out, legs roll in. Continue this practice. And then let go of the practice. Just rest in Shavasana for a moment. When you feel ready, blink open your eyes, bend at the knees. Pelvic tilt, roll onto the tip of the tailbone, roll onto the top of the tailbone. Pelvis rolls forward, pelvis rolls back. Pelvis rolls forward, pelvis rolls back. Pelvis rolls forward, pelvis rolls back. Continue this for a few more rounds. Now find a place where the pelvis is in neutral. So this means if you make a little diamond shape and put the tips of your index fingers on your pubic bone and put the heels of your hands upon the front ridge of the pelvis, known as the ASIS, anterior superior iliac spine, and the tips of the thumbs are on your navel, there might be a point when you're rolling forward and back where you meet this midpoint. So the tips of your thumbs and the tips of your index fingers are actually level now. We're going to rest the pelvis there. Slide your thumbs up now to your rib cage. So you'll find a rib that sticks out. This is the 10th rib. So we feel for that 10th rib and we put the thumbs on the ridge of that 10th rib and the tips of the fingers back on the ASIS, the front ridge of the pelvis. And with a big exhale, sink your ribs down towards the top of your pelvis. Now our spine's in neutral. Hold this in place with the musculature available to you. So you might feel pelvic floor is more active, your abdominals are more active, the sides, the lower back, the buttocks, they're all working to hold you with no rigidity. Extend your legs up towards the ceiling. Now if this causes a tremble or a shake, you can bend the knees and just have the knees stacked above the hips. Remember, the spine is still in neutral even though we've now loaded with the weight of the legs. If you can keep the legs straight, so you're stacking knees above the hips. Maybe there's a soft bend in the knee, but you're trying to get the legs as straight as possible. Just hold here for a moment. And now let's work into the ankle joint. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Point and flex. Point and flex. One more point and flex. Excellent. Ankle rotations. Change direction. Come back to stillness. Bend your knees. Put your left foot down on the floor and cross your right leg high up over your left leg, nice and high. Move the top of your right foot, the instep of your right foot, towards the back of your left calf. So I like to walk my left foot a little closer to the end of the mat. My right foot will not hook in behind the calf based on my makeup, but I'm squeezing it towards the back of the calf. So for you, it might hook easily, it might never hook. That's okay. Squeeze the legs together firmly, so you're really binding the legs in place. Reach your arms up so that the fingers point straight up at the ceiling. Your wrist is directly above your shoulder, your palms face in. Plug the upper arms back into the shoulder sockets. Bend it to the elbows and then take your right arm underneath your left arm so that your left elbow sits into the right elbow pit. Move the backs of the hands towards each other. They may touch. If they do touch, cross again at the wrist, take the palms together. And then lift your thumbs away from the face. Don't just be passive. Keep pressing upwards with the arms. Now, keep the neutral spine so you feel like you're quite active in your core, stable. We'll lift the feet off the floor. Knees are pretty much above the hips, and we're going to hold this position for a little while. Now let's do 5 abdominal crunches. Elbows to knees, knees to elbows. 1, 2, 3, 4, last one, 5. Feet to floor, unbind the legs. Hands to floor, unbinding the arms. Knees stay together, feet go slightly wider. This relaxes the lower back down into the floor. Supine rest position. And then let's do the other side. So walk the feet back in hip distance again. Maybe start with the right foot a little closer to the end of the mat. Cross the left leg over. Maybe you can hook the toes, maybe not. Once you're happy, squeeze the legs together so you're creating the bind action already. It's strong, it's stable. Arms reach up so the fingers point at the ceiling, your wrist is above your shoulder. Then the elbows. This time, left arm under the right arm, so the right elbow's in the left elbow pit, backs of the hands towards each other. Maybe palms together. So again, thumbs move away from the head, so you're not just sinking down. Let's keep the neutral spine, strong abdominal sensation, and lift your legs off the floor so that the feet are off the floor, and hold. Abdominal crunch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet down, uncross the legs, arms down, uncross the arms, knees together, relax. Separate the knees, walk the feet back in. So here, we're going to bring the knees up so that the knees stack above the hips again. Ankles in line with the knees. And take your hands to the outsides of the knees. And press your knees out into your hands, and your hands with equal force back into your knees, so that we're creating a lot of force and sensation. So knees are pressing into hands, hands are pressing into the knees, and we're trying to keep the knees hip distance apart, about 2 fist distance between your knees. Now, begin to just rock side to side, trying to keep the knees hip distance apart so they're not flaring wide. It might be difficult, you might need to keep pressing the hands firmly. And what you're trying to achieve here is that you find a point, a tipping point, where you're almost going to fall over, but you stop yourself by this incredible sensation in the core abdominal muscles, in those deep core muscles that stop you falling over. So we're allowing our core to kick in. If you do fall over, it's good. You're just testing your boundaries. That's okay. One more either way. And then pause for a moment. Cross your arms. This time, right hand on the inside of the left knee. Left hand on the inside of the right knee. Press the knees towards the hands and the hands towards the knees. Let's go again. Rock side to side. Keep the knees hip distance apart. So if they're flaring wide, you need to press your knees into the hands more and the hands into the knees more. If you find that you're not going to that tipping point, rock side to side more. You want to almost fall over. And then save yourself. And then relax. Bring the knees together. Circle the feet in the air, knee rotation. Change direction. stillness. Hands on your knees, knee rotations, moving the knees in opposite directions. So knees move towards the chest, away from each other and away from the chest. Feeling the sensation of movement in the hip joint. Change direction, hip rotation other way. And relax. Take the hands to the backs of the legs. Begin to rock and roll. Up onto the seat. Back onto your shoulders. Up onto the seat. Back onto the shoulders. One more time brings us all the way up to a seated position. Once you're seated, please take your strap. And you're going to take the strap a little wider than shoulder distance. So I'm going to hold the hard part. Take the strap a little wider than shoulder distance. We're going for shoulder dislocates here, which means that we're moving the shoulder and the shoulder blade through forward movement. So shoulder blades move forward into protraction. And then we're going to elevate up towards the ears, shoulder blades back into retraction, and then down behind us. Now, if you find you're flaring the ribs forward when you go down behind, make the strap a little bit longer. Then we'll come up into elevation, forward into protraction, and down into depression. Let's do this together. So shoulder blades, arms move forward, pull on the strap nice and tight. Up towards the ceiling, shoulder blades elevate. Shoulder blades move back into retraction. Now keep your rib cage down so you have neutral spine, and take the strap behind, shoulder blades back into retraction and depression. Up, forward, down. Up, back, down. Let's do two more like that. Up, forward, down. Up, back, down. Up, forward, down. Okay, so if that felt okay, go even just a couple of centimeters shorter. Let's do it again. We'll just do 3 this time. Forward, up, back, down. Don't flare the ribs. Up, forward, down. Up, back, down. Up, forward, down. One more. Up, back, down. Up, forward, down. Well done. Put the strap to one side. Reach the arms out at shoulder height, so the wrist is in line with the shoulder, fingers pointing up towards the ceiling. With your next exhale, fingers down towards the floor. With your next inhale, fingers up towards the ceiling. Exhale down, inhale up. Exhale down, inhale up. 2 more, down and up, down and up. Now hold that position and feel like you're trying to pull your fingers back towards your elbows. Pull. And then fingers down towards the floor and pull back. Shake out the hands. Hands down beside you, change the cross of your legs. Then hands onto the knees, torso rotations, shoulders circling around the hips. Change direction. And come back, shoulders stacked above the hips. From here, straighten out your legs. And then we're going to bend the knees just a little bit. Push the feet into the floor, so heels into the floor. And imagine you're trying to slide your mat back towards you, so you feel quite strong and stable. Now we're going to reach up towards the ceiling with the upper arms framing the ears. Lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, take your torso onto your thighs, reach forward and take the little toe sides of your feet. Lift your chest so that we're extending through the spine, and just draw back. So you feel like your sit bones are pressing down into the floor, your torso is pressing firmly into your thighs, and your thighs are pressing back into your torso. Take a moment there. And then if it feels available to you, slide your feet a little bit further forward. Again, elevate through the spine. So we're lifting the breastbone forward, and then squeeze your torso into your legs and your legs into your torso. And one more time. We're going to press the heels slightly further forward. Lift your chest. Press your torso into your thighs and your thighs back into your torso. And then come all the way back up. Lovely. Okay. Cross the legs and come all the way into an all-fours position, rocking over the knees if that's available to you. Take the wrist underneath the shoulders so that the heel of the hand is underneath your armpit. Spread your fingers nice and wide so that you could fit a finger between each finger. Crease if the wrist is in line with the front of the mat. Press the sit bones back. Press the head forward so you feel you've just lengthened your spine. Press your feet down into the floor, about 50%. So if you were to press 100%, your knees would lift. If you were to press not at all, you would feel very unstable. So press down about 50% and just see how that feels. Now keep that press down 50% into the feet. Cow and cat. Inhale, lift your chest, extend through your spine. Lift your tailbone, lift your breastbone, gaze forward and up. Exhale, round the spine, big angry cat. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. And then come back to a neutral position. I want to play with irregularity a little bit today. So now take your big toes to touch, knees wide, and let's do cow and cat again, but this time we're pressing the big toes towards each other and the knees wide. Inhale, extension in the spine, cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, cat pose. Two more. And come back to neutral. That might have felt completely different because we become very complacent in our movement patterns. We've trained them in over years. Now take your knees a bit closer together. So this time, knees are going to touch, feet are going to open a little bit wider. You guessed it, 3 cow and cat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more, inhale. Exhale. Come back to neutral. Replace the knees back underneath your hips and tops of the feet back on the floor. Rock a little forward and back so that you are coming into that planche position with the shoulders forward of the wrists and then the shoulders behind the wrists, loading up the wrist joint. So it's really interesting the different sensations when we did the cat-cow in different ways. When my knees were closer together, I found that I could not anterior tilt my pelvis as much while the knees were in that internally rotated position. So that's something interesting, and maybe I can work on that to get a greater range of motion. So you can tune in to what you were feeling in that position. Now take the shoulders back above the wrist, turn your fingers out to the side, and let's rock side to side. Come back to center. Turn your fingers back towards your knees or thereabouts. If the middle finger's pointing straight back towards the knees, then I'd rock forward and back. Otherwise, I would just hold still, pressing the hand firmly into the floor. Keep pressing the heel of the hand down, whichever position you're taking. Next time you rock back, peel your hand off the floor and then shake out the hands. So this time, we're going to do cow and cat again, but we're going to play with the position of the hands as well. So please come back down to your all fours setup. And this time, keep the knees underneath the hips, but walk your hands way further forward, a good deal further forward, so there's a big sloping diagonal in the arm. Now, inhale, cat pose, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. come back to neutral. This time, walk your hands back way further, closer to your knees, way closer to your knees. And again, so now we're in a slight planche position because our shoulders will be further forward than our wrists. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. And then come back to neutral. Now we'll take the hands back to that further away position. We'll take the big toes to touch and the knees wide. And then walk your hands right out, if not off your mat, right to the right outside edge of the mat. So my thumbs are going to stay on the mat and I'm going to take my fingers off the mat. So again, inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. One more, inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Come back to neutral. Keep the legs as they are. Bring the hands closer together, but still a good deal away from underneath the shoulders, so they're towards the top of your mat. And again, inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. One more, inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Back to neutral. This time we're going to take the knees together and the feet wide. So this internal rotation in the hips now. Keep the hands where they are, close together. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. One more, inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Come back to neutral. Walk the hands wide apart. I have my fingers off the mat, my thumbs on the mat. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Come back to neutral. Come back to a regular all fours position, back pose as they call it. So from here, curl your toes under, lift your knees just a little off the floor. Curl your toes under, lift your knees a little bit off the floor. Hold this position for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees down. So if you want, you can tap out the feet. If you want, you can shake out the hands. We'll be taking this position again. Remember, the theme of today's class is irregularity. So just different sensations, different loading for the body. Let's come back down if you're not already there into all fours. Curl your toes under. Lift your knees just a little, so they're about an inch off the floor. So now we're going to lift the left foot off the floor and hold. 10, knees stay where they are. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put your knees back down, tops of the feet down. You might want to circle your shoulders around your wrists. You might want to shake out the hands, whatever it is. Change direction. And back to stillness. Okay, curl those toes under. Up into our balancing table. Lift the knees. Right foot off the floor. Keep the knees side by side. Right foot up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Foot down, knees down. You might want to shake out the hands. You might want to rest in child's pose. Whatever you want to do. Okay, hands go back down. So this time, back into your floating table, lift your knees. And what would it feel like to lift your right hand off the floor but not tilt to one side? So maybe it's just feeling like you could lift the hand, it might go up and down, or maybe you can lift it for those 10 seconds. Get ready, don't let yourself sink to one side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hand goes down, knees go down. Take a break, shake out your hands, whatever you need. And to the other side, so hands down, curl your toes under. Left hand will lift. It might just feel like it's going to lift, like it's a sensation, but it's really building that neuromuscular pathway. So knees lift. Set yourself up. Do not lean to your right. Left hand up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hand down. And one last time, shake out your hands or take your child's pose. Hands go back on the floor. So this time we're going to take a solid plank. So shoulders will stay above the wrists. We're pushing the fingers down into the floor. Our hasta bandha is there consistently. So right foot or left foot step back. We press the heels back. We try not to sink the pelvis down or over around the shoulders. We have a long line from our heel to our hip to our shoulders. Our spine's in neutral, our pelvis is in neutral. We're going to hold. Buttocks are strong. Knees go back down. Take a break for your wrists. Now this is where we are going to grab our towel. And please take your towel towards the back of your mat on the right hand side. Plank pose, please. Step back. Hold the plank for a moment. And then take your right foot to the towel. And then please slide your right foot up until your right foot is in line with your right shoulder. And slide it back. Up. And back. 3 more. Up. And back. 2 more. Up. And back. 1 more. Up. And back. Excellent. Knees down. Take child's pose or simply relax in any way you like to. I'm going to switch sides just so that I'm closer to you with the leg that's moving. So, getting ready. The towel is now on the outside of the left-hand side of your mat. Back into plank pose, please. Solid plank. Left foot finds your towel. And then left leg draws all the way up until your heel's in line with your shoulder. And back. You have a solid plank the whole time. 2 more. 1 more. And release. Beautiful. Please take your child's pose. And this time we're going to spend at least 1 whole minute in your child's pose. So you can take traditional balasana, where the center of the foot and the center of the knee are lined, or you can take white knee shavasana, so the knees are wide, big toes touch, arms extended out, or hands down beside you, palms face up. Take your child's pose. When you're ready, come back up to all fours. So we still will need our towel nearby. So this time, we're going to go to downward facing dog. Curl your toes under, lift your knees, press your chest and belly back towards your thighs. Get long in your downward dog. So we feel the whole spine just got 2 inches longer. There might be a little bend in the knees, or maybe the heels are on the floor, but it's more important that you have the buttocks and the thigh bones going back, the spine long, than it is to have the heels on the floor and a slight round in the spine. Your ears are between your upper arms. We're pressing the armpits down, and we're pressing the thumbs and the index fingers firmly into the floor. Strong dog. Put your knees back down on the floor. Take a moment. We will set up our towel just on the outside of the hands. So this time we'll be playing with a little press away with our right hand. So you can watch me for a moment and then we'll do it together. The toes will curl under, we'll lift up, we'll find our downward dog. Solid in the downward dog, we take our hand onto the towel and we press away and we take the towel back to where it started. We press away and we take the towel back to where it started. If you can, you might take the towel all the way back towards your right foot and back to where it started. Towel to the right foot and back to where it started. It might just move a little bit. So it's very strong and stable in every other limb. We feel that control, okay? We're just going to do 5 movements with the towel. So remember, it might just move a little, you press away, or you might be able to slide it all the way back towards your right foot. Are you ready to join me? So let's find our downward facing dog. The hand comes to the towel on the right. Slide the towel away from you, it might come back to your right foot. And then take the towel back to where it was. And again. 3, 4, and 5. Wonderful. Put your knees back down. If you want a child's pose, feel free. I'm going to turn around so that I'm showing you the side that's closest to the camera. In your own time, let's come up to downward facing dog. So, downward dog. Everything is stable and strong. Left hand goes to your towel. And the towel slides back and away. And it comes back to where it started. The rest of the body does not move even 1 millimeter because we're so strong and stable. And we're enjoying this movement around our shoulder and scapula. We have 2 more. Last one. And then the knees go down. And you will take your child's pose, please. 1 whole minute in child. So allow the buttocks to sink down towards the heels. Forehead might be resting on the floor, or maybe on your fists, or maybe on a block. And for the next few moments, simply pay attention to your breath. Simply pay attention to your breath and nothing else. Nothing else matters. When you're ready, come back up to an all fours position. So from your all fours, curl your toes under, find your downward dog. And then walk your hands back towards your feet. Press your hands into the mat and come into a standing forward bend. Standing forward bend, knees are soft. Make sure the center of the knee is pointing towards the outside of the second toe. Let your head cascade down, shoulders release. Inhale, half lift, straight spine, straight legs. Exhale, fold a little deeper. Inhale, half lift, straight spine, straight legs. Exhale, fold a little deeper. One more, inhale. And exhale. This time, half lift, but take the hands a bit further forward of the shoulders. Step your right foot towards the center of the mat. And step your left foot behind your right foot. And then walk your right foot a little closer towards the left-hand side of your mat. So the legs are crossed now, right foot is in front, left foot is a little bit behind. So from here, we're going to keep the left heel firm on the floor, and we'll walk the hands back a little. You can soften that back knee and fold down over the legs. Hold the position. Keep both heels pressing firmly down. Remember, we're talking about irregularity. So what does it feel like to be in this new shape? Is the balance off? Can you use your toes to create more sensation of balance? Inhale, half lift. Exhale, back knee will bend a little as you fold deeply. Inhale, half lift. And back knee will bend a little as you fold deeply. One more. And then again, we'll half lift, but we'll walk the hands slightly further forward. Right foot steps back to where it started, left foot steps back to where it started. Let's shift side. So, left foot steps towards the center of the mat. Right foot this time goes behind, and then continue to walk heel toe, the left foot a little further forward. You might be feeling a good deal of stretch in your hamstring here, in which case you can soften the knees a wee bit. Walk your hands back. Fold deeply. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Walk the hands slightly forward. Uncross the legs. Hands to your hips, sink the buttocks slightly, rise all the way up to standing. Well done. So step off your mat for a moment, and let's just roll up the mat. Let's put the mat out of the way just for a moment. So rolling up your mat. We're going to play with some standing positions, but with a little bit of slide. So take your towel and stand back towards where the top of your mat would have been. Feet hip distance apart. Hands on your hips here. Come up onto the ball of your right foot, right knee bent, and just make sure that you still have the center of the right knee, the center of the shin, and the outside of the second toe all level. So from here, we're going to just explore what would happen if we bent left knee so the knee tracked above the toes, and just slide right leg back a little bit. Pause when the right leg is straight, and then come back up to where you started. Now you might want to go a little deeper. So hands on the hips gives you more stability, but maybe you'd like to load with the arms so that there's a little bit more load for the core. So this time, as my left knee bends, I'm going to slide my right leg back. I'm going to reach my arms forward so I'm in my sloping diagonal line pose. And then I'm coming right back up, my hands come down beside. Let's go again. Sloping diagonal line. And all the way back up. Let's do 3 more. Sloping diagonal line. And all the way back up. And 2 more. And 1 more. Okay, let's relax for a moment. You can put the towel to one side, bend your knees, place your hands on your knees, and just circle your knees around your ankles. Change direction. And then stand back up. So this time, we're going to put the towel underneath the left foot. We're standing with the feet hip distance apart, just like we would in a regular Tadasana. First one, hands on the hips. So we're going to come up onto the ball of the left foot, but make sure the left knee isn't rolling in nor rolling out. The right knee is still going to track in line with the space between second and third toe. And we're going to slightly hinge forward and let the buttocks go back until our left leg is straight. So slide the left leg back, slide the left leg back, slide the left leg back, and then come all the way back up. You'll feel the glute working. This time you may or may not want to get the arms involved. So get ready, slide the left leg back, and come all the way back. So it's a lunge variation. I like to call it the sloping diagonal line. And back we go. Three more. Two more. One more. And release. You can put your towel out to one side. This time we'll take chair pose. So hands on your hips to begin. Hinge at the hip, keep the lower back nice and long. Knees tracking above the toes, reach the arms forward and up. Hold chair for a moment. And stand tall. Hands to the heart. In prayer, close your eyes, be with your breath for a moment. And release your hands. So we'll take our mat back. So roll the mat back out. And then we'll come back up to the top of the mat. We're just going to play with some regular neutral hip postures. So reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Upper arms in line with your ears. We're going to step back left leg into a high lunge position with the arms elevated up. So step back now into a high lunge position. Shoulders are above the hips, back leg is straight and strong. The front knee is stacked above the ankle and it's neither rolling out nor rolling in. Hold position. Now arms reach forward, straighten your front leg but keep the back heel lifted. So this might feel irregular. Hands come down beside you. Interlace your fingers down to the webbing and draw the heads of the shoulders back and down. Just press your fingernails down to, or press your knuckles, should I say, down towards the floor. Keep straightening through the front leg. We're pressing that front foot really firmly into the floor. Keep the arms touching the back body, but begin to fold forward until your spine is parallel to the floor. So now we're in an odd feeling variation of Parsvattanasana, standing forward, bend over one leg, because our back heel is lifted now. What would it feel like to lift your arms away from the back? Hold in the position, keep driving front foot into the floor. Release now, your hands down to the floor. Keep that front leg nice and straight. The back heel is going to walk forward one little step, but we're going to keep that back heel lifted. Now, we might need a block on the little toe side of the right foot, or maybe not. Taking your left hand now to the outside of your right foot. Right hand comes to your right hip. Rotate to your right so that your right elbow is pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Remember, your back heel is lifted. So we're going for a revolved Trikonasana, revolved triangle variation with the back heel lifted. Reach the right arm towards the ceiling if you're happy. Maintaining the balance. Remember, the front leg is pressing firmly into the floor, but there's still weight in the ball of the back foot. It might feel a little bit odd. Take both hands down to the floor, so your right hand joins your left hand. From here, back foot walks back. Back knee will go to the floor. Inhale, crescent moon lunge. Both hands back to the floor. Please take plank. Knees, chest and chin to the floor, or cow and cat. Cobra. downward facing dog. And then the left foot will step to the front of the mat. And we're in a high lunge position, so the back leg is long. We're going to come all the way up. Hold this position. Straighten the left leg this time. So we're still on the ball of the back foot. The balance might feel a little bit off. Take the arms forward, hold position, take the arms down. So we might interlace the fingers again. If you do interlace the fingers again, change the cross of the wrist. So if you want to go a little bit further, we can take hold of opposite elbows, or maybe taking the palms of the hands together into a reverse prayer position. Head of the upper arm rolls back and down. Front leg is still straight. Let's take our standing forward bend variation, Parsvattanasana. Fold forward from the hips until the spine is parallel to the floor. You don't want to go much lower than spine being parallel to the floor here to keep the spine nice and long. Remember, on the ball of the back foot, and we're trying to get the front leg straight. And if you fall out, it's okay. Releasing now the hands out of their bind, whether that was hands in prayer position or fingers interlaced. Step the back foot in a little bit. And then from there, we're going to either take a block to the little toe side of the foot, take the hand onto the block, or simply take the hand onto the little toe side of the foot. Take your left hand to your left hip. Remember, we're still on the ball of the right foot. We're rotating to the left. We're not lifting left hip higher than right hip. If it's available to you, lift that top arm up. Reach and reach and reach. And then slowly release. Hands come down. Plank pose, please. Your choice, child's pose or knees, chest and chin. Lift your chest forward and up, cobra. Exhale. Everyone now please meet in downward facing dog. And then release your knees all the way back down to the floor. Well done. So roll onto your back. So just turn around and sit down. We will need our towel again. And what I'd like you to do is just roll up your mat a little bit. Roll up your mat a little bit. So we're going to take the towel underneath the heels. And we're going to lie down. So once you're set up, hands down on the floor beside you, head of the upper arms rolls back and down, which means our collarbones smile away from each other, as they say. And just for a moment, flex your feet and push your heels into the floor. Push your heels into the floor. So the back of the ankles, should I say, are pressing firmly down. And now draw those feet back just a little, bending the knees, but keep pressing the feet down into the floor. So what I want you to be feeling here is this little line of communication between the back of the heel, like this little horseshoe shape at the back of the heel. A sensation from there running straight up the back of the leg to the sit bones, around the lower part of the glute. Try and find this little communication line between the back of the heel and your sit bone. And if you don't feel it, straighten out the legs again. And then bend the knees just slightly, press your feet so firmly into the floor and feel like you're trying to slide your heels back towards your glutes, but you feel this line of communication up the back of the legs. Just relax another second and then let's do that one more time. So we'll bend the knees slightly, we'll pull the heels back. And then from there, we're going to drive the buttocks up towards the ceiling. So pelvis will lift. So the knees are still only slightly bent. Now elevate your pelvis as high as you can get it to go here. And then slide your heels all the way back towards your mat. And then straighten out and relax down. Now I would imagine that at least one of you out there got a big cramp in your hamstrings. So if you did, please relax for a moment, but we will come back into it. So essentially when you lift the pelvis up, We want to squeeze the buttocks very strongly to keep the pelvis high as we slide our heels back in. Really good work for what's called the posterior chain, really strengthening up our hamstrings and our glutes. So let's do that. We're going to do 5 more. So when you're ready, we're pressing the heels down so that we already feel this communication line into the back and lower part of the glute. Now, we're using those glutes to drive the pelvis up towards the ceiling. We're trying to keep the hips high. Slide your heels in, slide your heels out, and relax. So each time you get a moment to relax and reset. This is 4 more. So again, press the heels down, lift the pelvis, slide the heels in, slide the heels out, reset. Press the heels down, lift the pelvis up, slide the heels in, slide the heels out, and back down. We have 2 more. Press the heels down, lift the pelvis all the way up, slide the heels in, slide the heels out, all the way down. 1 more. Some of you are rolling around on the ground with cramps. It's happened to me before. I've been there. We bend the knees slightly, lift the pelvis, slide the heels in, slide the heels out, and relax all the way down. Well done. Bring your knees closer to your chest. Let the knees drape outwards so the knees go towards the armpits. Shoulders relax. So this is one variation of happy baby. Second variation of happy baby, we'll take the arms to the insides of the legs, reach for the outsides of the feet, still the head and the tailbone are down. Third and final variation, we're lifting the heels up in line with the knees and relaxing here. So we'll be here for maybe 2 minutes or so. Feel the weight of the pelvis sinking down, shoulders sinking down. Relax and settle. Just allow the shoulders to be held by the earth below. The knees feel like gravity is bringing them down. You don't have to force them down. Your jaw is relaxed. Your eyes are relaxed in their sockets. And you are simply letting go. Slide the hands back up to the knees. Let the knees sink a little closer to your chest. Bring the knees close together. And then just circling the knees, massaging the lower back and sacrum down into the earth. And then changing direction. We'll just take a twist before we take our final Shavasana. So arms out, either straight out from the shoulders or elbows bent into the cactus shape. Bring both knees down to your left hand side. Maybe you want to support them. Soften your right shoulder blade down to the floor. Turn your head, look to the right. Turn your gaze back up towards the ceiling. Bring the knees up. Bring your knees down to your right. Look over to your left. center. Lower the feet back down towards the floor. Stretch the legs out and please find your Shavasana. I should have already rolled out my mat. Find your Shavasana. Relax and settle. This is the time for you. now to your physical body. Notice your body, the weight of your body, any sensations in your physical body. Ground yourself back in your physical body. Ground yourself back in the space that you're in. Mind, body, spirit, back in the space. In your own time, coming back to the room and space you're in. Taking a few moments to yourself, or beginning to return to your reality. And as always, from me to you, with great love and respect, Shia Khan.